the further into this journey I get, the less I believe in the magic of personal development, the less I believe in the naive beliefs that I once had, that this was all fun and games and it was maybe for a greater purpose and it was meant to be. I don't know. The more aware I get, the less I believe in any magic for entrepreneurship.
When it comes to your long-term vision for what is possible for your life, I believe a childlike imagination can help you build it, and I think imagination is a critical component. Everything's built twice, once in your mind and then once in reality. But when it comes to reality, there is no magic bullet.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2096, there is no magic pill. Alan and I were talking before this, and he said, I kind of miss the days where we were naive.
Real quick. I just want to sell this pill.
Please.
Imagine if I had a bottle or something.
I wish you did instead of a mug.
There's this drink right here.
A potion.
If you drink this once every morning, it's caffeine, you'll be more productive.
That is a fact. It is an elixir, some would say. An elixir. Alan and I were talking, and he said, I kind of miss when we were more naive, when we just didn't really get it, when there was like a magic to stuff. There was a magic to everything. And I was like, yeah, it's weird how the more aware you get, I think all it is you get more grounded in reality. And
100%.
When you coach enough people, if I had $1 for everybody who came to me with a really good idea and a really good attitude and really good vibes, we would have a boatload of money. And I would also be doing them a disservice if I said, well, that's enough. Yeah, that's all you need. You just need a good idea and some magic, and then you're going to be fine. That's just not real. It doesn't work that way. And I think this is one of the downsides of growth, and this is one of the parts that hurts the most, is the more aware you become, the more you see the downsides of everything. And I think it's just important to talk about.
Yeah. When you're a child, all these things, for anyone who has children listening, turn this off and or put in earbuds, please. Okay? Disclaimer. When you're a child, there's the Tooth Fairy and there's the Easter Bunny and there's Santa Claus, depending on where you're from, Hanukkah, whatever it is, okay? There's a lot of... I remember when I was a kid, everybody had dreams. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a police officer. I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to do all, and then you get slapped. There's one person I'm thinking of, and we coach them, and they wouldn't mind me sharing this. I'll keep it anonymous. If you're out there listening, I've said this to your face, so we're all good. I said, when we met you, Emilia and I coach relationships, coach couples. We've been doing it for 4.5 years. Conscious Couples Podcast, shout out. When we first met them, I said this. I said, you guys were on the boulevard of broken dreams. One of them had wanted to be in the NFL one day, and the other one wanted to be a veterinarian. And neither one of them made it. And they were in their 20s, kind of lost and hopeless, and they met each other, and they have a great relationship, but they lost their dreams. They lost their drive. And when you're a kid, everybody's like, yeah, you can totally do it. You could be a veterinarian. You can be in the NFL. And not everyone says that, but you want to believe in Pop Warner football, and yeah, you got it. And then you look at the stats. And it's the 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% that ends up in the NFL. And of all the people who say, I want to be a veterinarian, how many of them actually end up doing it? I don't know the stats. I could look it up. I guarantee you it's very low. And this person, they didn't get into med school. This person was great at school. Hardworking individual. I'm a huge fan of this person. Now she's the GM for a pet food store, which is awesome. I'm helping her grow that, scale that. It's awesome. Leadership, all of the stuff. But I remember telling them, between you, listen, this is coaching. I'm just going to keep it real. We got to keep it real. You guys, when I met you, were on the boulevard of broken dreams. You both had given up on your dreams. You didn't have goals and dreams anymore. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's obvious. You just aren't building anymore. So we created a vision. We created a map. They have a next level decade is what I call this. You and I got to do this again. But essentially you go 10 years in the future and they created this horsey farm that they want. Recently, the woman reached out. She said, I don't know if I want chickens anymore. They're a lot of work. She was doing some house sitting for some people with chickens, apparently. But that's the truth. Everybody wants chickens until they feed chickens every day. There's a downside to fucking everything.
There is.
Real talk, everybody. Real talk. There's a downside to everything. I love little Tucker. He's our floof. I love him. We have to take him out 3 times a day, every day, manually. I can't stand that sometimes. I got meetings, all this stuff. I would never give up Tuck. Everything of value has to be fucking fought for. It takes time, effort, and money. Everything. You want a beautiful home, time, effort, and money. You want a beautiful dog, time, effort, and money. You want beautiful kids and a beautiful family, time, effort, and money. You want a magnificent marriage, time, effort, and money. That's the truth, man. The fundamentals. So when you're a kid, you believe in all these things, and they are real. They are possible, but not without, mortgage, car payment, taxes, payroll. So it's awesome to be in great shape. You can do it. You got this, but you better be in the gym at least every other fucking day. And that's the reality. So everything has a price. And I think if we make the promise clear and we're willing to pay the price, we can achieve our dreams. But don't get it twisted. Most people don't, because it's fucking brutal.
I think many people struggle and sacrifice and grind and do it and insert time and multiply time. And then they get to a place where they try to... Here's the thing. As a podcast coach and somebody who has helped a lot of podcasters, can I help you? Yes. Will it be easier for you than it was for us? In some ways. Can I make it struggle-proof? No. Can't do it. It's not the way it works. It just doesn't work that way. I don't think there is really any system where it's like, okay, I will put $1 in and I'll get $1,000 out. Eventually that happens. That can happen. Eventually. But not for the vast majority of the time. And I think that's an important piece of it. And I think the other piece of it is that's what facilitates the growth anyway. It's not, if you just went to the gym and it was easy and you didn't have to worry and you didn't have to work that hard, and then you wouldn't grow and you wouldn't appreciate the growth that you had. And that's a piece of it. And then the third thing, you've heard me say this quote a million times, and I don't say this as often as I used to. I still agree with it, but I don't know. I wonder if it's too pie in the sky, and I want to make sure it actually lands. Your reality becomes the parts of your imagination that you hold on to and pour into the longest. Again, this was all in my imagination, most of it, not all of it. But I had to hang on to that when the world said, hey, that's dumb as shit. Nobody makes money podcasting. That's stupid. Why'd you leave your job? Blah, blah, blah. And I had to pour into it every day. Every single day, we've done something to do this and grow this and make it better. But I had to let go of a lot of shit too. I had to let go of a lot of stuff. I had to let go of things that were in my imagination, and I had to stop pouring into things that weren't conducive to this. And that's a really challenging understanding too. I really, really want to have a car channel. I can't yet. I can't.
Can we go deeper instead 100%. Of I can't yet?
It's not optimal based on what we're doing. My time is better spent doing podcast episodes or coaching people or spending time with Taryn or being at the gym or learning new stuff. It's just not the best use of my time as much as I want to do it. I think I was naive to the fact that it's like, all right, cool, we'll make a business and we'll be successful and then I'll be able to do like a bunch of different stuff. No, if anything, I have to do more of the same stuff better for a longer period of time. And then eventually there will be such an insane amount of momentum that I will have opportunities to do things outside of it. And then I probably won't even want to, because it'll be like, that moment has passed.
I want to share this with all of our listeners and viewers. Kevin and I have grossed well over $1 million in our time in business together. Well over it. As a matter of fact, if I crunch the numbers, we're probably coming up on 2 million soon. Now, that's awesome. We have 105. I track this every day. We have 105 podcasters and business owners that we work with, paying us to help them reach their goals and dreams. That was at one point a magnificent dream.
For sure.
To build a successful business, fitness, personal development business in this industry. We are, when it comes to podcasting, we are the 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of podcasters in terms of making money with a podcast. Okay? Now, the podcast indirectly makes money. Doesn't directly make money. We don't have any ads. We only advertise our own stuff here. The Dreamliner, coaching, podcasting. We produce 70 podcasts, produce/consult with 70 podcasters. I'm including group coaching in that. Now, at the end of the day, that's all awesome. And that all sounds awesome. And it is awesome. And that was at one point a fucking dream. That was a dream. That was our dream. But here's the deal. When Kevin and I wake up tomorrow morning, we have to service 105 people. I think I really want to try to break this down. This is something I think everyone can relate to. I ordered a shirt on Amazon earlier today. I have a gift card. The shirt's $27. It's going to come to my door tomorrow. 1 day shipping. I'm super pumped. Somebody had to make that shirt. Somebody had to quality assure that shirt, make sure it's not ripped, someone had to package it. Someone had to put it in a box. Someone had to ship it to an Amazon procurement facility. Someone had to put a label on it. Someone had to scan a barcode. I used to do automation, so I actually know all this. And Amazon was one of our, not really supposed to say that, doesn't matter. Amazon was one of our big customers. I think we called it Odin or something. The point is that somebody, how many people had to touch that shirt before it got right here? And it's not this shirt, obviously, but for the metaphor, how many people had to put work in, had to work for me to wear this shirt? I paid $27 for this shirt to come to my front door. That was earned with other people's time, effort, and money. That's what companies do. So if you want to build a company, if you want to build a business, if you want to build an organization, you want to start a charity, nothing is free. Nothing's free. It requires time and effort. You want a marriage? Time and effort. You want kids? Time and effort. You want pets? Time and effort. You want a home? Time and effort. You want a great yard? You know how hard it is to grow nice grass? I'm so grateful to have landscapers. They are unbelievable at what they do. They're out there all the time. I'm so grateful. We also have high HOA fees. Okay? We live in a condo complex. It's awesome. Particularly because I'm not a fan of doing landscaping. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. But the point is, I get to do what I do best, they get to do what they do best, and we pay for that. And I think that mentality is really critical. And when you're an adult, you realize that. When you're a kid, the electricity's on, you don't think about it.
It's the best.
It's the best. And then your parents yell at you, like, turn off that fucking light, right? Depending on what kind of parents you had. Get out of the shower. It's like, got it. The utility bills are nuts. But I also understand someone has to provide that electricity. Someone has to provide that water. I have someone that I coach who's does water and all that stuff. Clean water. Taxes, all this stuff. At the end of the day, when you're an adult, you realize everything costs something, and I have time and effort. Your most valuable asset on this earth is time and effort. Where are you putting your time and effort? And to me, I don't waste time and effort anymore. Dude, I used to party and waste time and effort. I used to waste it. And I didn't have a family. I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have a home. I didn't have a nice car. I didn't have a business. I didn't have an 18-person team. I didn't have a podcast with 175 countries that we're heard in. So I didn't have much. And I wasn't nearly as fulfilled, and I live a meaningful life, but I also didn't have any responsibility in comparison. All success, this will be the last thing I say in terms of this, and kick it to Kev. All success is built on responsibility. I was coaching a GM yesterday, and I said, how many cooks do we have in this kitchen? Like, okay, so there's 2 investors over here. Then there's these 2 investors. Then there's you. You're the GM. I said, who's the best in business out of all of you? She said, honestly, I don't think any of us are good at business. Okay. And he immediately chimes in. She says, it's a franchise. They got sold on this. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So anyone who jumps into a franchise, usually it's, we'll do the business. We're corporate. We'll teach you business. They're not teaching them. So I'm filling the gaps here. I'm a relationship coach who's apparently teaching business on the side. But at the end of the day, she is the GM of her own pet store. It's unbelievable. It was a dream. But her life behind the scenes is super difficult. I'm behind the scenes with people all the time. I'm coaching people in the real world with real problems, with real financial statements, with real, hey, how much you spending? Hey, this person wants to go away for a month. Well, that's 15% of your revenue. Can you tell her to maybe do a week instead of a month? What are we doing here, right? She's like, well, you got to stand up to her. You're the boss. And again, it actually is a week. It's ending up being a week. So if you're listening, that's what that is. But the point is that real problems in the real world come from real responsibility. And if you want big goals and dreams, you're also going to take on a ton of responsibility.
There's just more fires. There's just more fires. I think that's the thing that I never thought about that. I didn't understand every person, every opportunity is a potential for X amount of fires. And that's really what it is at the end of the day. Like the more clients we have, the more fires there are to put out. And then that becomes more of my job. My job is to put out fires more than it used to be. And that's weird. It's weird to understand that. It's weird to realize that. It's challenging to realize that. But again, I would rather this be easier than I thought. I would rather go into it thinking this is going to be absolutely terrible and this is going to be the hardest thing of all time, and then it be a little bit easier because then at least you're relieved. When on the opposite end, I think a lot of us are misled into doing hard things with the assumption that it's going to be easy. And I don't think it serves us. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's... If I called you and said, yeah, we're going on a camping trip. All right, what do I need? Don't worry. Don't even worry about it. You don't even need anything. I got an air mattress. I got it all. Everything. I need a jacket. Nope. Got a little heater for the tent. When we get to the campsite and I say, ooh, kind of fucked us here. Forgot the tent. I forgot the heater. We're going to have to sleep under the stars. You're going to freeze because you didn't come prepared. I told you it was going to be better than it is. You're fucked. You're in trouble. But if I said, yeah, you better bring a sweatshirt. You better bring extra socks. Waterproof stuff would be good. Extra water. Definitely like some meals, protein bars, and that stuff. And then you show up and we're glamping. It's just this really nice, warm tent. I got a fucking TV hooked up. We're playing Xbox. You're going to have the time of your life. You're going to be like, wait, this is what we're doing? Yeah, no, I got us. We're good. Why'd you tell me to bring everything? Just in case. Just in case. You never know. You never know what might happen. Those are two very different experiences. And I think those are two very different dream chasing experiences as well. I would rather you leave here and be like, oh, Kevin Allen are hard asses and they tell me it's going to be terrible and they're all about grind and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, from my perspective, I would rather you leave here and think it's going to be harder than leave here and say, oh, it's going to be easy. Anybody can start a business. Yes, anybody can. Pay $500 to your state or however the freak you do it, wherever you are. That's the easy part. Yes, anybody can start. Anybody can sign up for a gym membership. It's fine.
0 to 10, how hard is growing a business from your perspective?
It's 12. It's the hardest thing ever of all time. It is the fucking hardest thing. I would go...
Is there anything you've ever done harder?
No.
Is there anything even close?
No, because it never stops.
That's my favorite, man.
It's a treadmill that you can't ever get off. It speeds up and the Legos get sharper.
Is there anyone
forever.
you know in person who is a more successful business owner than you?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. What percentage of people that you know, of all the people you know, what percentage are more successful business owners than you?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I have a percentage because there's only so many people that are...
1 in 100? 1 in 100, probably.
Yeah, probably 1 in 100.
Okay. So Kevin is top 2% in business owners that he knows in terms of success and actually creating and building a real business with a real team.
Yeah,
in the real world. And he just said it's a 12 out of 10 hard. Growing a business is the hardest thing in the entire world.
Dude, anything, if you decide, you know what, I got this 9 to 5, but I really want to go do something different. you are choosing the harder from an external perspective.
Explain. Because you used to work a job that was hard, but it wasn't in comparison. Like
it was hard
pros
in
and cons.
ways.
Give me the pros and cons of the six-figure job you had before.
Pros. I kind of sort of knew where I was going to be, for how long I was going to be, how much money I was going to make. Work vehicle was paid for. The gas was paid for. I didn't really need, there was no overhead for me. It didn't cost me anything to work there. That was all really cool. I made really good money. That was kind of it. That was like, those were the pros.
No, you're missing one.
What?
When you are done working, you're done working.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Well,
It's
even
the
in
best
that
part when you
but that I was a foreman, so it kind of wasn't.
Yeah, but it kind of was. Come on. The moment
No, I had calls on the weekends and stuff. No. I had to put together, I had to go work on Sunday and prep the van. No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It wasn't. It was more than this, but it was.
Okay, now go into that.
Literally, and again, I'm not asking, this is not for sympathy. I could not fall asleep last night because I had so many ideas of what needs to get done.
Yeah.
We're switching, where we use a platform to record our video. It's $90 a month. Fuck that. It's not worth $90 a month. We're going to find a way to get it in half. Cool.
Nice.
That just came to me last night. It's like, why haven't I thought of that yet? All right, cool. Let me do that. I could not sleep last night because I had so many things going on in my brain that need to get done. And then first thing in the morning, I have to fight myself to not open WhatsApp and check WhatsApp before I go to the gym. I have to make sure I don't check my emails. I literally get anxious on Sunday because it's like, I've gone too long without looking at WhatsApp. I need to go look. Like, let me look quick to make sure nothing's burning down.
And
like,
I literally
get anxious.
Oh, Kev, you need to work on your anxiety, or you need to delegate more. Listen, we're more successful than you. The people that say that, we're actually significantly more successful than them. And what they don't understand is what we're building. They don't get it.
You don't get, it's easy to read a book and say that. It's like, yeah, that's what the book, no, that's not how it doesn't work that way for me yet. And that just is what it is. This is the phase that we're in. We have very unique, specific goals, not only in the next however long, but this year. And that's why we're doing things the way we are. But that's the thing. There is no pill. It's not, have you heard of this platform? Doesn't matter. Have you thought of this email sequence? Doesn't matter. Have you ever used this message in this way? Doesn't matter. That's all supplemental. That's all supplemental. And supplements are great. But if you're not working out, you can take all the creatine in the world and it ain't going to do shit. We got to go because I have a podcast. Speaking of, I have a podcast breakthrough session with a wonderful human right after this where hopefully I can tell them that there are rainbows and unicorns, but they're less rainbowy and unicorny than you think.
Love it. The last thing, next level lesson, Kevin, when he did the camping metaphor, ask yourself this question. Which one is easier to sell? We're being honest at the expense of selling you something. It's easy to sell someone on something that looks grandiose, but then they get to the woods and they end up starving to death and choking on the dust of their own regret because they quit their job when they shouldn't have because they didn't understand what they were getting themselves into. So I miss somewhat being naive because we were willing to talk about mindset and this kind of stuff, but we're not naive anymore and we had to grow the hell up, and that's okay. And the truth is, adults need to adult and they need to be honest about what it really takes. And if you want to have a farm, you're also going to have to feed the chickens, and that's a metaphor.
You got to feed the chickens. All right, as always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.